everyone, I would like to share a new feature in Harvester 1.6.0. It's about CPU and memory hotplug. That means you can dynamically change the CPU and memory value of a VM. At first, let's see the old behavior of the VM. If we set the CPU and memory without enable CPU and memory hotplug, let's see what happened to the VM. Okay, and now we can see the value is set to the CPU cores. And the memory value is set to the memory guest. And also, this value is set to the limitation, resource limitation value, 2 CPU and 2 GB memory. Okay, now we create another VM. And we enable CPU and memory hotplug. And there's two new value is about maximum CPU and maximum memory. This is value that the running VM can dynamically change to. Okay, now let's check the VM2. We can see the CPU value is now set to the socket, not core. And also the maximum CPU is set to the max socket. And for memory value is also set to the guest value. And for maximum memory is set to the max guest. And for limitation value is changed. It's now set to the maximum CPU and the maximum memory here. Okay, now we can try to edit the CPU and memory to dynamic change to a new value. Okay, let's say we change the CPU to 3 and the memory to 3 GB and click apply. And then we will see the VM is trying to migrating to a new part. Okay, now the migration is success. And let's check the VM2 value again. And we can see the CPU value is set to 3 now. And for the memory value is set to 3 GB. Okay. If we want to change the maximum CPU and maximum memory, we have to restart the VM. So this is some limitation. And for maximum CPU and memory, we have another setting for it. We can change the max hotplug ratio, like here. We can change to the value 2. And let's create a new VM again. Now I set the initial value as 2 CPU and 2 GB memory. And I click the enable CPU and memory hotplug. And we'll see that the maximum CPU and maximum memory is changed to 4 because the max hotplug ratio is 2. But users still can change the value they want here. It's just a default value. So let's take a look. Okay, and now we can check the VM3. The initial CPU value is set to socket, and the maximal CPU value is set to the max sockets. And for memory value, the initial value is set to the guest, and the maximum memory is set to the max guest. And for limitation, the maximal CPU is set to the resource limitation, and the maximal memory value is set to the resource limitation. Okay, this is all about the CPU and memory hot plug feature. Thank you.